the attacks of the devil and the dialogue that he had with Allah Azza wa Jal against the children of Adam alayhi salam. You read that the devil will attack from all sides, and you just keep moving on. You just kind of don't stop and think about that. And so I've decided to pay attention to places in the Quran that easily, at least for myself, get overlooked, and to try to highlight that for my own benefit and inshallah ta'ala for your benefit as well. I think it's important to note that this is the ultimate battle and the ultimate conflict that humanity will engage in since its birth all the way to the last day. Our ultimate enemy is shaitan.
It was more like I discovered Satan and discovered the devil, and certainly believed that very powerfully, metaphysically or not. You don't have to read that much about what happened in Nazi Germany or what happened in the Soviet Union or what happened in Maoist China, what continues to happen in many places around the world, to be convinced that there's a great darkness. And it seems to me that if there's a great darkness, then there has to be a great light.
There are innumerable references to malevolent powers that are identified as demons. Now, these demons or evil spirits are non-human influences which can manipulate people in an assortment of ways. The prevalence of the topic of demons was summed up by Rabbi Manasseh in Israel, a 17th century sage, who said that the opinion of all Jewish authorities is that the biblical references to spirits are to be taken literally. The sheer number of Talmudic references to these sources demonstrates that we are dealing with some sort of actual phenomena. That's the Maratchias.
I'm headed out to my favorite spot where I like to just sit and think and pray or meditate and just be peaceful and enjoy life. Right on top of the hill over here, I usually sit on that bench, a lonely little bench. So I was just sitting on the bench, and then I noticed black and white sparkle kind of things in the sky, and then I saw like the birds really clearly, and they were like in slow motion, and this beautiful design appeared in the sky up above me, and when I looked out farther, it went all the way out as far as the eye could see, kind of like a dome over the earth, and it looked kind of like translucent clouds, but it was in the shape of like kind of like a flower that went on and on. And I noticed that ever since that day, if I want to see that, I can. I just have to stare into the sky for a while and just kind of clear my mind and feel peace in my heart and love. So this is my spot. I'm just gonna sit up here for a little while and do a little meditation, a little prayer for the world, you know, because there's a lot of anti-forces in the world right now affecting everyone, everywhere. I feel like it's particularly dominant in the Western world, but since I'm not in the other parts of the world, I don't know, maybe it's the same. Kind of like just swing my feet when I'm on this bench. It's kind of fun. So I had decided to make a video explaining something about the Antichrist. And there's just so much to talk about, but I'm going to try to kind of condense it and just talk about a few aspects. One of them being everything that we're exposed to today has been permeated by the Antichrist, permeated by evil, chaos, and lies, falsities. The clothes we wear, the food we eat, the shoes on our feet, the water we drink, you know, the products we buy from the store, the education that we get, and even some of our religious sectors. Some of our churches, mosques, synagogues, religious leaders, and even some scriptures have been altered over the course of time to give us falsities. It's kind of hard to talk about. It's kind of hard to explain. But I think if you really try to think about things, you'll really start to be aware and be more awake. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I don't know which area to go into first, to be honest. The West is being hit hard right now. There have been an introduction of chemicals, hormones, and things like that into our food and products and water. Even when we get milk and meat, there have been things put in there that have been harmful to reproduction, fertility, and children being able to grow up as full males or full females without having interference. There is ideology, demonology, all of that stuff coming in through the internet. Children are watching it on their phones, hearing it at school. There's a huge attack on our young people, telling them that they aren't a particular gender, that they're not male or female. There's an attack on females, men saying that they want to be female, they don't want to be male. I'm not going to say it's crazy, it's the Antichrist. I know that people think that the Antichrist is a person, but the Antichrist is not a person. The Antichrist is a huge demonic, I'll say, spirit energy, and it just permeates from every direction. Wherever it can get in, it will get in, and whatever person it can use, it will use. In the West, in Christianity, and I think maybe Judaism too, but I'm not sure, they have a number that they look at, which is 666, and they believe that 666 is the name of the beast, the Antichrist. But 666 is, well, it is that, but it's not a person. So the number 6 represents man, or men, humanity, humans. And when there's 2 6s, that means the Antichrist has a good, strong hold on men, humanity. They have a lot of power over us. It has a lot of power over us, but not full power. When there's a number 666, a triple number, that's when the Antichrist would have taken over humanity's truth entirely. Like, you won't be able to buy or sell it. That means you won't be able to learn the truth about anything, and you won't be able to teach the truth about anything. And that's what not being able to buy or sell means. And that's what 666 means. It means the Antichrist will, at that time, at the apocalypse, well, right before evil's reabsorbed by God and Christ is back and the earth and humanity are set free. So we'll have 666, and 666 just means all-encompassing evil, all-encompassing falsity, all-encompassing lies, chaos, untruth in the world. And that's what that means. And that's the Antichrist. But after this all happens, the evil will be reabsorbed by God and taken away. And we will have peace and happiness and a wonderful new world. And there's a lot more detail in all of that, but in a nutshell, I guess that's kind of like an abbreviation of what the Antichrist is and what we're going through right now through the apocalypse. If it's not true, it doesn't feel good. If it's truth and love, it always feels right. Don't forget that. The Antichrist is lies, falsities, chaos, turmoil, fear, confusion. Christ is love, unity, peace, forgiveness, comfort, and joy. Use your inner compass while navigating the world right now. Steer clear of evil. Let goodness and light be your true north. You can do this. You can navigate it. You are strong, you are wise, and you are loved.
And this is an ayah of what you can refer to as biblical history. So there's going to be references to characters, individuals that are very important in the Bible that are going to be talked about now in the Quran. The culmination of this section is going to be the struggle of Isa alayhi salam. Everything that's being talked about culminates, the climax of it is really the engagement and the struggle and the mission of Isa alayhi salam. So in the Battle of Uhud, there's going to be a point where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was believed to have been killed. He was hit hard on the face, and his face bled, and he passed out, and he was unconscious. And the rumor spread that he's been killed. And after he got up, literally people risked their lives to become a human shield for him, right? So they were the ansar of him in his cause of Allah, right? So, and ready to sacrifice themselves for that purpose. So this parallel is important because before the Christians are told, no, Jesus is not the Son of God, he's just a messenger of God. Before that, because that idea that the Christian has, it's not an idea of logic. It's not a philosophical idea. They don't believe in that because they were rationally convinced of that notion. They fell in love with that idea because it's an emotional attachment. And when you argue with someone rationally as opposed to when you argue with someone emotionally, it's completely two different things. You can get into an argument with your spouse, your mother, a child or whatever. Let's say with your mother. You can win logically, but you have lost emotionally. Your mother will say, oh, congratulations, you win. Do you feel good about yourself? Winning a rational argument sometimes is the worst kind of loss. It's the worst kind of loss. With the Israelites who are very keen on evidence, muhajja, فَإِنْ حَاجُّوكَ فَقُلْ أَسْلَمْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّهِ. When the argument was essentially fundamentally logical, rational, then you had to cut to the heart of the problem. You had to go after their evidences. فَأْتُوا بِالتَّوْرَاتِ فَاتْلُوهَا. Quran will say later on, bring Torah, read Torah. You think you have evidence? Go ahead and bring it. We went through those ayat too. But with the Christians, the idea is that of loyalty and love and, the sacrifice of Jesus and the struggles that he made and that love and bond that they've created with him. Well, Allah is using that love and bond, first of all, to empathize with the struggle of Isa alayhi salam, and then show that actually this messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is on the same side, right? So it's a very soft approach to teaching that very hard lesson that he's not the Son of God, right? And you'll notice also in these ayat that Allah will not take a very aggressive stance until the very, very end. It's actually a very soft approach to get to that point, right? So That's the other interesting thing that's happening here.